Please remain seated.
All right, folks, welcome to another episode of Pound for Pound. Make sure you like, subscribe, you know what I'm saying? Click that notification bell. We got a special guest here today, a very, very good friend of mine, a mentor of mine. We got the Thug Jitsu Master, Yves Edwards. Let's go, let's go. Okay. So, man.
I like that intro, man.
Hey, man, I gotta ham it up for my guy.
I ain't had an intro like that since Bruce Buffer.
Oh, man. We gonna get into it, okay? We gonna get into it, you know what I'm saying? This man has a storied career. This man is, like I said, my mentor, somebody who I look up to. Somebody, even before, it's even like surreal, me like sitting next to this guy, because he low-key, high-key famous. He high-key famous in the MMA world, so yeah, I can't wait to get into this interview. Okay, so we might as well just get into it. So the first question I got for you, and I've been wanting to know this, I guess, for a long time. Yves Edwards. I won't say your government middle name, you know what I'm saying, because we on the internet, I won't say that, but talk to me about where Yves Edwards come from and how you got that name.
Man, shoot, that's funny. Yeah, my name is Yves, right? And a lot of people don't that's not very common, especially here. Not even for me in the Bahamas. I grew up in the Bahamas. You know, I was born and raised there. My mom, you know, she was raised by my grandmother and my grandmother's sister, Yvette. So, and then, you know, like, first of all, black people. It's a country of black people. And you know how it is. It's like everybody has their own things as far as like these superstitions they believe. So we got a bunch of them in the Bahamas. If a baby lizard's in the house, somebody's pregnant. That's actually true. If you find a
baby lizard is in the house,
somebody's pregnant. What? Like that literally is the truth. Like my experience. So you believe that without
a doubt.
In my experience, that has been how it is. Even with my wife, when like just before she got pregnant, somebody's getting pregnant. Just before, when we went home to visit, my cousin was like, "You guys are gonna have a baby." Wow. And I was like, "What?" And then like the next morning, there was a baby lizard in the house.
Oh my God!
And then we went home, and I went to Sweden to do some work, and she called me. She told me, like, I just took a pregnancy test. I'm pregnant.
What?
So like that's how that works. But like that's a whole nother story, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, when my mom got pregnant, you know, everybody's telling her that I was gonna be a girl because they thought I was gonna be a girl because of all the signs and all the superstitions around it.
Yeah.
So the baby lizard one is real. Whatever the girl one is, that's not real.
If the lizard is blue or red, you know what I'm saying? That one might be false.
So she, like, my aunt was her favorite person. Her aunt was her favorite person. She promised to name me after her. And so my name was going to be Yvette also if I was a girl, but I was a boy, and Yves is a French name. Yeah. My mom went to school in Canada, so that I think that played some into it too, about her wanting me to have a French name and then my aunt's name being Yvette. So I think those two things.
So she just freestyled Yves from Yvette?
No, Yves is an actual name.
Yeah.
So I think she just named me after, like related to my aunt, but not directly after. You know.
But she liked the name Yves.
She liked the name Yves.
Yeah.
Yeah, my middle name, that comes from my dad, but yeah, we can leave that alone.
We're gonna leave it out. Tell me, from your point of view, what does Bahamas encompass? Like, what is Bahamas like from your point of view?
Man, I mean, it's where I grew up, right?
Yeah.
So everything about the Bahamas is what I love. So here's the thing. This is a real thing for me. As soon as I got a bike, you know, I'm 7, 8 years old. I got a friend who's 6, 7 years old. Okay. I got another friend who's 10 years old, and we're riding our bikes. We're riding around, collecting cans, you know. Okay. We're taking them to the recycling place, buying, recycling the cans, getting some money for them, getting like $2, $3, $4 a day, going out and buying bread and buying some bologna, and we're going into the bushes, and we just like build like a camp, and we like said make a fire, and we're like frying up bologna sandwiches
in the bushes.
Yeah.
Y'all real life bushman in the Bahamas.
Yeah, we just hanging out.
Wait. I'm the bologna sandwiches. Hold on. How y'all frying them? Y'all on rocks?
No, we'll take a pan. We'll take a pan from the house. But
take a pan, but you'll like make a fire.
Yeah, make a fire.
Oh yeah, y'all different out there. Y'all different out there.
Make a little fire in the bushes, and then like that's another thing too. Like people say like there's no seasons in the Bahamas, right? Like because. Like that's something my wife says. She's from DC. It's like, no, I like the seasons. I like the summer and the winter and the spring. But we got seasons in the Bahamas. We got like plum season and mango season and guava season.
It's all sunny and beautiful, but it's a different season.
We got different season because every part of the year there's a different fruit or a couple different fruits that are in season. And that's the season that we care about, you know. And
all that snow nonsense. I'm with you on that though.
Yeah, and we're out in the yard, bro. I used to get yelled at by my grandmother for sitting in a guava tree, eating guavas all day because like you can't digest guava seeds. So like they just pass through you. But if you eat too many of them, you could get constipated. And I love guavas, so my grandmother used to be yelling at me, boy, get your ass out of that tree before you get constipation.
So Bahamas, I mean, it's just like a bunch of outdoorsy, you know, like everybody is kind of like that out there?
When I was growing up, yeah. I mean, now everybody's got a tablet, you know.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I don't know if kids are still growing up like that. I hope.
For y'all who don't know, Yves was born in the Bahamas, and then you moved to Texas.
15, yeah.
Texas when you were 15 years old.
Yeah.
So 14 or 0 to 14 or 15, you were in the Bahamas.
Yeah, I turned 15 here.
You turned
so
15
I moved here like 2 weeks before my birthday and started school. And yeah, I spent a lot of time here, but like my whole upbringing and everything I know as a child was in the Bahamas.
In the Bahamas.
You know, that kind of formed me. So like I go home now and I just jump in a car and I get where I need to go.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. The video you showed me of the water and like I think it was like y'all were on a boat and or whatever, and y'all just like kind of you hop out of bed and then you just water is surrounded you and it was just like a fucking paradise. It was goddamn paradise. Yeah. But how'd you get from go to my next question? How'd you get from this beautiful, you know, oasis of freaking beauty to wanting to punch people in the face for a living and into this MMA? Like, what got you into that?
Man, there's like a bunch of pieces to that story, but it starts when I was 3 years old.
Okay.
You know? And my uncles, I have these uncles who are like 12, 13 years older than me. So I'm 3 years old and they're about 15, 16 years old. And one of them comes home with a Betamax cassette player. Right? And so my uncle brought home Superman and Enter the Dragon. Those two movies. So I watched those two. Those are the first two movies I remember ever watching. You know, I'm watching Enter the Dragon, and there's a scene where I think it's not James Kelly. I forget the white guy name in the movie, his real name. But his character, he's on the mat. He's on the ground. He does this kip up. You know, I'm 3 years old, and I'm looking at my uncle see that, and I'm like, I could do that. And like I just saw it for the first time. I could do that, and my uncle, you can't do that. Like And then I go and do it, and they're like, that's because your dad. That's because your dad, you know? That's because your dad is who he is. So, but like ever since, but that was the first martial art, and I wanted to be like Bruce Lee, I wanted to be like Superman. But then I found out Superman was an alien, and he wasn't, first of all, he wasn't real. No, I first learned he was an alien, then I was like, yeah, Superman isn't real. People can't really fly. I was like, oh, well, fuck that guy, you know? So I ended up falling in love with Batman. I wanted to be like Batman, and also he did martial arts. But like the Bruce Lee thing, and then I grew up watching like all the kung fu movies where, you know, where they talk like that, and then it's like, you killed my master? I'm going, you know? Yeah. So I grew up watching those things, and then Bloodsport and all those movies came out, and like these tournaments, and I was just like, I wanted to do martial arts my whole life. I did martial arts for a couple of months at home as a kid in the Bahamas in the 4th grade. I was 9 years old. I did karate, and it was cool, but it was also not what I thought it was going to be.
It was like traditional karate?
Traditional karate. It's traditional karate, but I don't remember what style of karate. It was probably like Shorin-ryu or something. Okay. I know I'm not saying that right. I'm being disrespectful. Yeah, it's Shorin-ryu. But like, we had to learn these forms, and we almost and I was a white belt, and so we were never sparring, and I was just like, I don't want to do this. This is whack, you know? Fun. And then I moved here, and I started training like traditional martial arts here. Trained praying mantis, kung fu, and whatnot. Because there was really nothing.
Okay, tell me about, praying mantis, kung fu. sounds like, I ain't gonna lie, it sounds like it sounds like fake. Like they just showing you some stuff that, like you push them with the wind of your hand and then they supposed to fall down.
Yeah. Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes and no. So we learn these forms and whatnot, and it's like these different hand postures for your hand to do these
Praying Manson style.
that like I've never used in any of my MMA fights, you know.
Okay.
But like I did learn like.
Was it like wax on, wax off? Like
a bit of that. There was some of that. You know, you learn these blocks and these things that you don't do, and then you spar and you don't ever use any of those things except like the kicks and whatnot.
Okay.
The only thing, but like the kicks, I learned some side kicks, front kicks, round kicks, but the only kicks that I ever transitioned over were the round kicks and front kicks, right? Mm-hmm. We used to spar, do that, and I loved it. I thought I was cool. Yeah. I was like, I wanted to be a Power Ranger. Yeah. You know, in high school, and then I was coming home one day, or not even coming home one day. I saw it on the TV Guide magazine. There was going to be a UFC. But nobody knew it was the first UFC. Nobody knew what it was, but the advertisement said judo versus karate versus kickboxing versus sumo versus, and I was like, wait a minute, this is like blood sport. This is what I want to do that. I begged my stepdad, like I begged my dad, I'm like, hey.
How old were you then?
14, no, I was like 16.
Like 16?
16, yeah. It's like 1993. So I was about 16, and I'm just like, I begged my dad. I was like, we gotta get this. Here's my allowance. It's like $20. It's like, here's all my money.
Just so you can watch it.
Just so I can watch these fights. And then I'm sitting there watching it, and it's like, what are they doing? You know, everybody's like, Art Jimison comes out with one glove, and I'm like, all right, he's gonna punch this guy, and he gets taken out, he gets choked, and I'm like, I don't even know what that is. And then this guy, Jason DeLucia, he comes out, and he does praying mantis kung fu. I'm doing prayer. I'm like, this is my guy. Let's go. He's gonna do some cool shit, right? He does one spinning kick. Like he throws a spinning wheel kick, and like literally they're like this far apart. Like your kick misses the guy's face like by that much, you know? And then at some point they tie up and they go to the ground, and then he gets behind the guy and he chokes him. And I'm thinking, there must be something to that, but I don't really know still, you know?
Okay.
But I start watching all the fights, watching fights, and I start understanding some of it. Don't do it yet. Haven't had any formal instruction or anything yet, but I'm like, I'm gonna do that one day. I'm gonna do that. That's what I want to do. And I'm like, but the UFC is only heavyweights, and I'm like 5'7", 5'8", 130 something pounds probably. Yeah. And I'm like. Rod Woodson is 5'9", just played for the Steelers, was a safety, and I start like, I could be that. He's 200 pounds. But like, I'm like, I get up to 200 pounds. And then they started the lower weight class. They had the two weight classes, the heavyweights, and they call them lightweights at the time, but everybody under 200 was that. So I was like, if I could be as big as Rod Woodson, like he's my height, and I just gotta lift and eat. So I'm like eating weight gainer and drinking eating ice cream shakes and protein and everything all day. Going to the gym. I did my first thing with credit and they turned 18. Got a Bally's gym membership. And start going to the gym, lifting weights.
Youngest, they don't know about Bally's.
Yeah, right. That's like what 25 Fitness. That's probably gone too at this point.
Planet Fitness now.
Yeah. So I was doing all of that, but I remember watching a fight with Vernon White, and it was a Pancras fight. And Pancras had some weird rules where you could grab the ropes if you were in a submission and they let you go. You could do that up to 3 times, right? Okay. And he was losing the fight up until the 3rd round, and all of a sudden he like turned up, knocked the guy out. Yeah. And I'm like laying on the couch watching that, and I roll off the couch, get on my knees, and I'm like, God, please let me have fights like that. Please. You know?
Like you hoping for like wars.
Yeah, right?
Oh my God,
That's what, because like you grow up on martial arts movies, and Van Damme and Bruce Lee are like, Bruce Lee's getting all cut up and he's trying to walk through these mirrors trying to find the bad guy. Yeah. Van Damme's he's beating the guy who like paralyzed his brother and all this other shit, you know? So like I want that glory. And so I'm watching the fights, I'm starting to pick up things, but I don't know anything. And then I finally go back, I graduate high school here, but I go back home to the Bahamas. Like, I'm still, like, I'm just a kid. It's a weird thing because I wasn't like, I couldn't work here yet. I went home at the time, I got a job at home. My best friend, his little brother comes out in this uniform and he's like, I'm like, where you going? He's like, I'm going to my ninjutsu class. Like, I had these 2 best friends. One kid was this white Bahamian kid, other kid, black Bahamian kid, but so I'm at my white friend's house, and his little brother comes out wearing this uniform, and he's like going to his ninjutsu class. And I'm like, bro, ain't no ninjas in the Bahamas. What you talking about, bro? Right? And he's like, no, we used to do the stuff like what they do in the UFC, like chokes and arm bars and stuff. And I'm like, I gotta go see this.
Yeah.
You know, so I go up there and I just turned 18 and this 14-year-old kid chokes me out. And I was like, I gotta learn how to do that.
At least to beat this little boy.
Yeah. So I started training there, I started learning some stuff, and it was like, the system was Robert Bussey's Warrior International. And they had a guy who won a UFC, the third UFC. He was the alternate, Steve Jenner. He won with like the worst armbar you'll ever see in the history of arm bars. Like he's mounted on dude, punching dudes, like pushing him away, and he like literally stands up and rotates into the arm bar.
Oh wow!
You know, but he gets it right.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I started training there, and then I came back to the U.S. Still couldn't work. I had this friend who's Puerto Rican, and we used to go to the park, put on hoodies and sweatpants, and just go in the park in the grass and wrestle. And just do martial arts and whatnot.
Yeah.
I gotta find this video. I'm gonna give. My dad found this video of like us. We did like this fight scene, and I did this whole scene where
y'all recorded it.
Yeah. Well, like I like jumped up and stomped his neck, and I was like, I did the whole facial expression and whatnot.
Yeah, like more WWE.
It was Bruce Lee. I was trying to be Bruce Lee.
Oh, okay.
You know.
For sure.
So
for people who don't know, like nowadays, I feel like we as MMA fighters, we have it kind of easy. Because I mean these motherfuckers is rolling around in grass to get techniques. Like we ain't doing nothing like that. We are pretty coddled, I guess, as MMA fighters. We go to a gym, you know, and then the gym usually has a couple of techniques or disciplines, and we learn that discipline, and then we go and we compete, usually through that gym. Yves and the people in his era, I don't even know what you call that era before,
pre-UFC?
Like pre-UFC? Yeah. Pre-UFC, these motherfuckers was savages. They just was figuring shit out and fighting on the street. They had no weight classes. They had no... y'all had two weight classes, my bad. You was either big or you was little. You fight on these local events, you know, your local MMA shows, and then you move on to like regional shows that have a bigger broadcast team, and then eventually you fight for like bigger shows. What in the Wild Wild West pre-UFC, what was like the route or what was the goal, or what were y'all? Yeah.
So I started getting in MMA when the first couple of UFCs happened. So like this is a different time too. The rules weren't anywhere like they are now.
No
like
modified, or whatever they call
no
it.
unified rules now.
Rules.
You know, 12-minute rounds or 30-minute rounds or whatever it was at the time. And how it happened? Like what were we doing? We were just picking up fights anyway. I fought and I fought at the stadium. So not stadium, the stockyards in Fort Worth.
Stockyard.
Yeah.
Where they sell and buy cows at. Y'all fought in there.
We fought there. So they put a ring up. They put a ring in it, you know, and me and my two roommates, we were fighting at the time. So we used to call ourselves the trio. It was me, a white guy, and an Asian guy, right? We were roommates, and we used to train together. And so we were so excited because we were fighting on the big stage, and we were fighting in the crowd. We were fighting for this show called the Power Ring Warriors up in Fort Worth, and we were talking about how it was going to be so hype, it was going to be so pumped. Anyway, the ring is out there, out on the what is it? That dust well, like where the cows go out and you know buck and whatnot. And so we're out there, we're fighting. One of my buddy, the white guy, he fights. And after his fight, he runs to the ropes and he throws his towel. But like literally the distance between the fans and the fighters, because we're out on the dirt, is like from here to that other building across the way from us, you know?
Okay.
So it's like 30, 40 feet. So his towel just kind of falls, you know? But like we were fighting in these like I had one time I took a fight. Literally, I showed up because Boss Rutten was going to be there. I was super excited. I wanted to fight in front of Boss Rutten.
Yeah.
I just showed up with my gear and I walked into the rules meeting. I was like, hey, if nobody has a fight, I will fight them because Boss Rutten was going to be there and I wanted to fight in front of him.
You just showed up to support somebody, or you just showed up to watch, or you showed up knowing, I could get in a fist fight.
I showed up knowing that Boss Rutten was going to be there, and I just wanted to get in the fight.
Oh my goodness.
In front of Boss Rutten because like I was watching all the Pancras tapes, you know, and like this is when the commission had nothing to do with it. There was no. It wasn't regulated like it is now.
Yeah.
So like
pretty much if a guy said it was okay, then y'all
That was
good
it.
to fight.
'Cause
If
I
you
fought-
say yeah and the guy say yeah, you're like, all right, go ahead.
I fought, my roommate comes out and he's like, hey man, you see the guy you're fighting? And I'm like, no. And he's like, man, he's like 6'2", he's like jacked, bro, like 220. And I was like, okay. That's what it was like. I mean, you could just pretty much show up and get a fight back then, man. Pull people out of the crowd, like I've seen people get pulled out of the crowd, say they want to fight this guy. But this is an era when people like, they're looking at fights and they're like, I just get up. You know what I mean? I'm sure there's still a few of those people around. I'll just get up. But like,
I can do that. What?
I used to love that. I was doing a PR when I first signed with the UFC. They had this PR thing, and this lady came out to take me around to these PR things. I went up to Dallas for one, and this guy was talking about when they're on the ground like that, why don't they just get up? And I was like, yeah, they can't. He's like, yeah, I would just get up. And this dude is huge. This dude is bigger than the other dude. He's probably like 260 or something, but he's fat and out of shape.
Right.
You know? And I was like, if I was in your guard right now, you couldn't get up. And he goes, I can get up. I'll just push you off of me. And I was like, no, you can't. Like, we can do it right now. And then the girl, the PR lady, she was like, no, Eve, you can't risk you getting hurt. Because you're fighting your first fight in like 3 weeks. And I was like, no, I got it. And so I get in the dude's guard, and he's like, he's gonna stand. I was like, go ahead, get up. And he's having a hard time getting up, and he tries to push me off him. I just go behind him and choke him, you know? And I was like, see, it just doesn't work like that. And she's like, you can't do that. I get fired if you. It's okay. I'm not hurt. We're good. We're good. But that's how you do it.
Hey guys, welcome to Cuvee's.
Thank you, man.
What we have for you guys today is we have our signature lemon pepper wings. One of the things that makes our wings different from anything else is that we marinated in our salad dressing.
This is salad dressing here.
That's the salad dressing.
Let's go.
It's a honey lime vinaigrette salad dressing. Only 100 calories. It's great as a marinade and dipping sauce and as well as salad dressing. Now this salad dressing was developed for my grandkids because they like ranch.
Okay.
And I wanted them to have something a little healthier.
Oh. Oh man.
Now you have our signature salad dressing, which you have our spring mix, our mandarin oranges, our dried cranberries, fresh cucumbers, fresh red onions, and fresh strawberries on top with the honey lime vinaigrette salad dressing.
Our dressing is bomb.
We have Chilean sea bass with a roasted garlic Parmesan crust topped with the shrimp scampi sauce.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this is a signature dish of ours. I created this dish during COVID.
Wow.
You guys enjoy.
Thank you so
Dig in,
much.
man.
So much.
Sheesh.
Man,
Oh my goodness. All right, man. This is some kick-ass sea bass. But speaking of kicking ass, you talked about the UFC. I think you're the only athlete that's competed in UFC, Bellator, Strikeforce, WEC, and Pride.
and pride, yeah.
Yeah. So
Really?
I think you're the only one. I read that somewhere that you're the only one.
I believe it. I believe it.
That's competed in all those.
I've done some cool
So yeah,
shit.
you've competed all over the world, you know. And there's a lot, I feel like, of promotions, you know, like coming up, you know, we got bare knuckle, got karate combat, you got Bellator and PFL, UFC. What do you feel like, for you, like what promotion or what promotions kind of like stand out for, I guess, longevity and maybe like catches your eye? Like where are the promotions, the MMA landscape, where you feel like that is right now?
Yeah. Well,
You being an expert because you know you've been freaking everywhere.
we can talk about was it power slap?
Power slap? You got
No,
power slap
no,
too?
I'm kidding, man. I think that's the silliest one of all of it.
For those of you who don't know, power slap is like pretty much one person signing up to slap the other one and seeing who can take the hardest slap.
Who's gonna slap? I'm not gonna let you slap me, bro.
So it's no like skill, and I guess slapping power would be the only skill that you need, and being able to take a slap.
How you practice for that?
Yeah, but how do you practice that? Yeah.
I don't know. And then they got weird rules like you can't turn your hips or you can't move your foot. Anyway, I don't. When you talk about the whole combat sports landscape,
Yeah.
because there's a bunch of you need to see some of that crazy stuff that's going up in Europe and Russia.
Yeah, they got freaking
have, like, tag teams
car
and-
jitsu.
Yeah.
Freaking somebody fighting in a car and seeing.
I
who's
see the
gonna
guy
choke
got
somebody
choked out
out
with a seatbelt.
Seatbelt, yeah, yeah, straight up.
So Like
phone booth. I seen phone booth boxing.
I saw
literal
that
phone
too.
booth.
Like I don't know, man. It's like there's a bunch of stuff out there now, but like I think the things that are kind of combat sports but are separate from MMA that will have some longevity, maybe like karate combat. People like bare knuckle. It's weird because it's like 20 years ago, you put bare knuckle in front and be like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, nah, I'm
After
good.
you've been there and done that.
Yeah, but like, shoot, the other promotions, I think they will all stick around and they'll kind of fluctuate their popularity behind where the UFC is in America now.
Yeah.
Just because I don't know, I feel like the UFC has put a stamp on
sure.
that, like they're the NFL of America. You know, it doesn't mean like they have all the best guys. They got most of the best guys because they're a bigger promotion. And then with all the stuff that's going on, the PFL acquiring Bellator, that like I want to see how that plays out because like Bellator is a solid promotion. You know, they've been around for a long time. I don't know why they sold, but like if the PFL is doing big things, then that's a good thing. ONE FC is strong, so that's what I believe. I believe those four. Of course, the UFC is gonna kind of keep that hold that they have on everything, but I mean, I believe they want to keep that hold they have on everything. Going to try to do everything they can to do that. ONE FC is going to be strong, but I think they're going to still be stronger overseas. And then the PFL and Bellator.
See what they do.
Like, see what they do, but like, that's just mixed martial arts, you know? Then we start having like bare knuckle fighting. Masvidal has a promotion. He has bare knuckle game bred mixed martial arts. That's bare knuckle. And shoot.
So maybe that'll make
those things will make a run. They'll stick around and give guys opportunities. And shoot, bare knuckle BKFC seems like they're paying people. Guys are making some good money. So like, whew, what would it be like to be it's just like, man, what would it be like to be like at least 33 again?
Okay, well, let's talk about this too. You also been across promotions. You've been across the world, you know. What would be your craziest story fight related from a different country?
Fight related.
I heard some crazy ones, which I got one that I thought was pretty crazy. But what would be your crazy?
What would I think is the craziest story?
What would you? I shouldn't say that because you don't think nothing is crazy. You fighting giants out here and chewing gum.
Yeah, I don't.
Nothing that you can like repeat on.
I feel like do I want to call people out like that?
No.
I won't say their name.
Okay.
But they were popular in Japan.
Okay.
Especially at the time.
Okay.
But I was with my buddy Tim Crater, walking down this part of Shibuya called Roppongi. Yeah. It's like the party part of Shibuya of Japan. It's where everybody goes out to fight.
Yeah. Right? Shibuya. Is that what the song comes from?
I don't know if the song comes from them, but that's funny. I never put those two together. Okay. But no, we're walking and we see this guy down the alley and there's a woman in front of him on her knees. Oh. And this guy's like a big name in the fight sport. Okay. And I'm like, and Tim's like, hey, look, it's him. And it's like, and he saw us in the club a minute ago and we're just like, yo, what's up? And he goes, hey, my friend. Trade hard. That's it.
Yves is considered the uncrowned lightweight champ, you know? He was a guy who was ranked #1, beat the #2. In any other promotion, he would be the champion of the world. He had a belt strapped across his waist. But there were circumstances, which you could probably elaborate on, where you didn't get your belt. Like, you know, where the hardcore fans, they know Yves Edwards is an uncrowned champ. I feel like we've coined him in that, or the people have coined him as that. But from your perspective, what do you feel like happened?
Oh yeah, this is the one thing about fighting that like it hurts. Like hurt. I feel it right there, you know. Because doing this, I always wanted to be the best. My thing was to be the #1 guy, to be the champion, to have that belt around my waist, and to beat everybody else in the division, to be fighting the other guy that people consider to be the best guy around. You know, he was undefeated at the time, and that's Josh Thompson, and him and I is sitting on top of the UFC's lightweight division, and the sport is just not what it is today, and so like this is the last lightweight fight that the UFC plans to have for the foreseeable future. You know, they're getting rid of the division. They're closing out the division. So we have the last fight because there's only 5 pay-per-views per year. You know, there's only 5 UFC pay-per-views a year, and that's it. There's no fights on no fight nights, no TV, no Tuesday night fights or any of that. Yeah. So having that fight and winning that fight, and it's crazy because I remember talking to Josh, and I was like, man, does that not disappoint you? And he was like, no, you know, you learn to live with it and you move on and blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, man, it's because you lost.
Exactly.
You know?
No, that's exactly it. I mean, I wouldn't want that moment kind of coined if I lost that moment, you know. Yeah. No disrespect to Josh Thompson. He's an amazing fighter. He's also a commentator. I love Josh, yeah. But if I was fighting you and this was like for the uncrowned championship and I lose that, I'm wanting everybody to forget that, you know, that moment, you know what I mean?
Especially the way it happened.
Right, the way it happened. Again, we love Josh, but Josh got knocked the fuck out in a head kick, you know? I mean, I've been knocked out before, you know, it is not fun, but that's the facts. That's what happened. The person who wins that fight, they deserve their credit, you know what I mean? And I feel like, you know, Yves didn't get that, you know, but the people kind of recognize him as the uncrowned champ of the lightweight division in the UFC.
It was a good time, man. It was a good time, and I feel like winning that, like being recognized as that, changes a few things. Yeah. Like you do this to be the best, you get that recognition, and that gives. I've seen it happen. Yeah. Like nobody believed Leon Edwards would beat Kamaru. Right? Nobody believed you beat Kamaru the 3rd time they fought because Kamaru dominated the 2nd fight for so much of that fight. But then you see that 3rd fight, and it's like Leon Edwards all the way. Yeah. And I believe that getting that belt strapped around your waist, having that moment of, man, I actually did what I set out to do. Yep. I can do fucking anything. Yeah. You know? And I believe that does something to a man. My fight in the UFC, I believe, was my 2nd fight in the UFC against Kaoru Uno. He was somebody I looked up to. He was the Shudo champion. And I got in there, and I did not win the fight, but I busted him up quite a bit, and I had him at the end of the 2nd. I didn't lose, but I didn't get the submission because of the time on the clock. The round ended. Yeah. And my technique was a little sloppy. But after the fight, just seeing how he was like, he was like kind of gone. He didn't have much energy left, and I was ready for another one. And I was like, I used to look up to this guy, and I still did, you know. But like, I can compete with these guys. Yeah. And that for me, that like, I went 13 straight after that. Right. You know, at the highest level. So from the Thug Jitsu master, what is exactly Thug Jitsu? Y'all see it on the shirt. Make sure you go get one. It's Thug Jitsu search when you get a chance. Thug Jitsu is the modern art of the beatdown. That's all that is. It's straight up beating people down. Yeah. Mixed martial arts is mixing all the arts. So for me, I want to be the best at everything. You know, Rafi is a good wrestler. That was his base, but he can strike. His jiu-jitsu is super solid. No, so that like, I believe in that. I believe in finding the weakness in your opponent and then taking them there as much as you can. I hate like ball sports because I hate mercy rules, especially in ball sports for any age level. You know, if you can't stop me from scoring, then I'm gonna keep scoring. Same thing. So if I can exploit something, if I can take you down, if I can kickbox better than you, I can hit you way more often than you can hit me. Even if you got a chin and I can't put you down, I'm just gonna beat you up until the time's over. But if I can clip you and put you to sleep, I'm gonna do that as soon as possible. So, but also if your kickboxing gives me a problem and I know I can get you to the ground, or I have to change the game and I'm able to do that, boom. So that's my thing. Thug Jitsu is about being complete, being able to play any game and change the game to your benefit at any point in time. You've retired. You retired? I'm retired. I'm done.
Okay, so you retired. Now you've been coaching. You know, he's my coach. He's coached me to win championships at a major event. But I want to talk about so you are, when you first did like the kipping up, when you learned MMA, it kind of like came to you naturally, right? Or to an extent.
Yeah, some of it came to me naturally.
Like you seen it and you were able to do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's some of those times.
What do you do? And it's just a personal question. What do you do when you coaching somebody that just don't get it? That, you know, don't have that innate ability to kind of see and do, you know, they just don't have it.
I get frustrated.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all you can do, right? And then I start yelling, lose my voice. You know, that's what I do.
Yeah.
But hopefully, if this is in competition, they can get through it and get the W. But like when we get back to the gym, man, I want to be on you. I want to, like, we got to fix this.
Yeah.
We can't have these problems.
But how do you feel like you fix it? It's just a time thing for everybody, or is it, if you don't get it, you ain't gonna never get it?
I think there are some things like that. If you don't get it, you're never going to get it. Mm-hmm. But concepts mean a lot to me, you know, okay. And I think concepts are relatable to a lot of people. So if you can understand what they're not understanding and relate that to something that they could probably understand, like the thing, I do this with a lot of people. I don't know if I've ever talked to you about this, but we talk about this in wrestling a lot. Like guys want to keep their lock and their hands are locked, right? And your hands are locked here. It's going to be hard for me to separate your hands. But if I can get you extended, then it's easier to separate your hands, right?
Yeah.
So like concepts, right?
Gotcha.
If somebody's constantly holding on to you in a body lock, we got to get your hips down, get your hips away from them. That extends their grip. So now we can start trying to pummel in and separate their hands. So just concepts like that.
All right, for those of you who don't know, Yves is a goddamn megastar. He's also he's been in like so many movies. And this is why I love Yves, you know, because he's so like humble and kind of down to earth. But the dude know Halle Berry. He got Halle Berry phone number. I've been trying to get it for about a year now. Tell me how like a training for a movie, because you've been a stuntman and Avatar and all these like great, you know, films. Tell me how training for a movie and training for a fight, how they differ or how they're the same.
It's weird because it's like, it's fun. It's definitely different. Sometimes it hurts just as much because you learn how to take falls and whatnot. But training for a film is the difference is that you're just doing the same thing over and over again. Yeah, you kind of do that with pads. Sometimes you're trying to work a specific combo, but for a film, you're working a whole sequence that's the same. You know, fortunately, I'm not the star of the film. I'm not the number one on the call sheet, so I have little pieces. So those guys like Keanu or Halle Berry or somebody like that, like that's amazing. They hold all that stuff in their head. But that's a big part of it. Just drilling, just repetition, because you got to be perfect.
Yeah.
You got to be perfect. It's a lot of fun though. You learn different falls. You learn how to fall. Learn how to take rolls. You start getting on wires and getting thrown around or air ramps and getting tossed up in the air, things like that. I've never been hit by a car and I've never been lit on fire. So that's cool.
That's like on your bucket list?
No, not,
okay.
Maybe the car hit, but definitely not being lit on fire. You're not lighting me on fire, bro.
So we finna start a segment of pound for pound called quick combos. You very familiar with quick combos because y'all are telling me to throw them. So we got a couple questions that I'm gonna ask you, and you pretty much gonna pick one or the other, and it's gonna be fast. We coming at you fast, okay?
Okay.
1, 2. Okay. So, favorite movie star, or pick one or the other, Jet Li or Jackie Chan?
Jackie Chan.
Boom. Dang. Why Jackie Chan?
Because that's the man. Jackie Chan's the man.
They both do their own stunts.
Yeah, but Jackie Chan's been doing it forever, and like I had this video of like 3 hours of just Jackie Chan stunts. I could sit and watch that again and again and again, back to back. Okay,
submission to strikes or a submission?
Submission to strikes?
Like a submission to try somebody tapping to strikes, or you submitting them like armbar, choking them out?
I rather choke them out. You tap the strikes, you're a bitch. I didn't beat somebody. I just beat a bitch.
Let's go. Cricket or baseball? For those who don't know, cricket is the national sport of Bahamas.
Really, neither. But if I had to choose one, I'd pick cricket.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You play cricket?
I don't play it.
Yeah,
But
but
I
you
played
pick-
it once as a kid. Once.
Yeah, I don't really like baseball either, though. Blood sport or Into the Dragon?
Into the Dragon.
Into the Dragon.
100%. That's my movie, bro. That's my
should've
favorite
known.
movie in my life.
Johnny Cakes or Southern Cornbread?
Johnny Cake. What are you talking about?
Southern
How you know about
Cornbread,
Johnny
bro.
Cake?
What you mean, bro? I got some goddamn researchers from the Bahamas off the island.
Yeah, no. Johnny Cake all the time.
Johnny
bro.
Cakes?
Johnny Cake every time.
Marvel or DC?
Ooh.
Ooh.
That's a hard one. I got to go with DC just because of Batman. Batman above everybody.
Got another Bohemian question for you. Conch or catfish?
Conch, 100% of the time. I will never eat catfish.
Oh,
Catfish
no.
no, bro.
You don't mess with the
I don't-
sweet
no.
devil? Bottom feeder, whatever they
That's
call it?
exactly what that is.
If you had to coach one of these athletes, okay, we got Randy Couture from the old school, and we got John Jones, Johnny Bones Jones from the new school.
I love you, Randy, but I got to go with Johnny on this.
Oh!
I got to coach Bones, man.
Bones Jones. Okay, so this is a question that we ask all our guests. Happiness or legacy?
Happiness.
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 Did you care to elaborate?
My happiness right now, my wife, my daughter, my family, my friends, that is my legacy. I leave my when I'm gone, I want my daughter, like the most important thing in the world for me is my kids and my daughter, her being the baby and me being this point in my life. When I'm gone, I want her to know that my daddy loved me so much. You know, like that's everything to me. My wife, she had a friend, her dad was older, he passed. She's a grown woman. She got to have him through 30 plus years of her life. And like just the way she felt when he was gone, like I don't want my daughter to be devastated, but like you can't really do anything about that. But like I know she felt that way because of what her dad meant to her. And like for me to mean that to my daughter, that's everything, man.
All right, I want to thank Cuvee's Culinary Creations for this amazing kick-ass sea bass. And make sure you check out the link in the description for more on them. This has been another episode of Pound for Pound.
Please remain